If you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough. Afraid I fall into that category of the dumb.
Dave Blankenship is a true Oak Island legend, a man who literally grew up inside the mystery. His sudden departure from the show sparked a firestorm of speculation, with many fearing the worst. We're diving deep into the real story of why he disappeared. But this is more than a simple exit. His body was nearly broken after a catastrophic 45-foot fall, a story of survival that is nothing short of a miracle.
I'm not as straight on my legs as I used to be. But you see, I'd do just about anything I wanted to do here.
But it was his spirit that was broken by the behind-the-scenes drama and a stunning betrayal from the show's producers, a final insult that forced him to walk away forever. A disappearance act. When you think about it, the mystery of Dave Blankenship's disappearance is almost as deep as the money pit itself. One season he was there, a pillar of the Oak Island Fellowship, the tough, no-nonsense son of the legendary Dan Blankenship. The next, he was just gone. No fanfare, no goodbye episode, just an empty space where a legend used to stand. For the millions of loyal viewers of The Curse of Oak Island, it was a jarring change that the show itself refused to explain. This silence created a vacuum, and you know what they say about vacuums, they get filled with whispers. The internet, of course, went into a frenzy. Fan forums and Reddit threads lit up with theories. People who had invested years watching the Blankenship family pour their blood, sweat, and tears into that tiny 140-acre island felt they deserved an answer. The most common and most worrying theory was that Dave's health had taken a turn for the worse. He was getting older, and the physical toll of treasure hunting is no joke. These whispers intensified during the global health crisis, with fans speculating that Dave, perhaps being more vulnerable due to his age, had decided to isolate himself and step away to protect his well-being. It was a plausible story, one born out of genuine concern for a man they'd come to admire. But then the story took a much darker turn. Here's the kicker. A quick search online for Dave's name suddenly pulled up something truly chilling. An obituary for a man named David Blankenship. The panic was immediate. Had the Curse of Oak Island claimed another victim? The legend, after all, says 7 people must perish in the search for the treasure before it's found. To date, 6 have. Could Dave be the 7th? The news spread like wildfire, a grim conclusion to his silent exit. The community was left grappling with this bombshell, a bizarre and unexpected twist that seemed to confirm their worst fears. It felt like the island itself was trying to bury one of its own.
So what's the matter, boss? I want something this thick, this wide, about this long, about 40 pounds, gold color.
It took some time for the dust to settle and for the truth to emerge. The obituary was for another man who just happened to share his name. It was a wild coincidence, but it showed just how invested people were in Dave's story. The truth, as it turns out, was that Dave Blankenship was very much alive, but the real reasons for his vanishing act were buried deeper than any treasure chest. His absence was a ghost that haunted the show. The Lagina brothers, Rick and Marty, along with the rest of the team, continued their quest, but there was a palpable sense that a part of the island's soul was missing. Dave wasn't just another treasure hunter, he was a living link to the island's modern history. He and his father had been digging there since the 1960s, long before the cameras and big money operations arrived. He knew the island's secrets, its moods, and its dangers better than anyone. His gritty determination and sometimes salty language, which often had the network censors reaching for the bleep button, made him an authentic and beloved figure. He was the real deal. So, for him to just disappear without a word was unthinkable. It hinted at a story that was far more complex and painful than anyone could have imagined. The real story wasn't one of poor health, but of a broken heart and a betrayed legacy. The 45-foot fall. To truly understand the man Dave Blankenship is and the resilience baked into his very bones, you have to go back decades before the TV show ever started. You have to go back to a horrifying day in 1986. Longtime viewers might have noticed that Dave walked with a slight limp, or that he favored his right arm, rarely using his left. This wasn't just a quirk, it was the permanent mark left by an event that should have ended his life. Believe it or not, before he was a full-time treasure hunter, Dave took on other tough, hands-on jobs, including a stint as a steel worker in the mid-1980s. He was known for his toughness, but nothing could prepare him for what happened that day. He was just 36 years old, working high up in the cab of a crane on a construction site. Suddenly, with a sound like a cannon shot, a cable holding a massive 5-ton air compressor snapped. 5 tons. That's 10,000 pounds of steel and machinery, now completely untethered. The compressor went flying and the severed cables whipped through the air with unbelievable force. They struck David on his knees, shattering them, and the impact threw him through the crane cab's windshield. He plummeted from a height of about 45 feet to the hard ground below. It's a miracle he survived the fall at all. But the nightmare was just beginning. The safety helmet that saved his skull from being crushed on impact played a cruel trick. The way it shifted upon impact disengaged an artery in his neck, leading to a massive stroke. Dave was left partially paralyzed and in a comatose state. The situation was so dire that doctors delivered the most devastating news to his family. They believed he would never be able to get out of bed again on his own. His life as an active, able-bodied man was, in their professional opinion, over.
If I think it, it comes out my mouth. There's no in between. That's why I swear so much.
But they didn't know Dave Blankenship. In the face of that grim prognosis, his sheer grit and stubborn determination took over. He embarked on a grueling path of recovery, pushing through unimaginable pain and intensive physical therapy to regain what the fall and the stroke had stolen from him. It was a long, brutal fight, but he slowly, painstakingly clawed his way back. As his biography on the show's official channel notes, he has faced limited mobility for more than 30 years, but it has never once hindered his pace. In fact, it states he can still outwork men half his age. It's an incredible story of resilience, a testament to his unbreakable spirit. This event became a defining moment, forging him into the tough-as-nails character fans would later come to know and respect. It proved that nothing, not even a 45-foot fall, could keep him down for long. This tragedy gave him a perspective on life that few could understand, and it was this same fighting spirit that would later fuel his most difficult decision. The deleted Facebook post. The rumors about Dave's health and the false obituary were dramatic, but the real reason he left the curse of Oak Island was in many ways even more heartbreaking. It wasn't about a health scare or a desire for a quiet retirement. At the end of the day, it was about loyalty, respect, and a legacy he felt was being erased before his very eyes. The truth came out not in a press release or a TV special, but in a raw, emotional, and quickly deleted Facebook post that sent shockwaves through the Oak Island community. In that post, Dave laid his feelings bare for the world to see, and they were feelings of deep frustration and disappointment with the show's producers. He wrote that he had quit the show because they had left out 50 years of his dad's work and had gone in a different direction. He added, "That night I quit and they will not say anything about me." This wasn't just a complaint, it was a declaration. He was drawing a line in the sand. To understand the weight of this, you have to understand who Dan Blankenship was. Dan wasn't just a treasure hunter, he was the Oak Island treasure hunter for half a century. A U.S. Army veteran, he became obsessed with the island's mystery after reading the same 1965 Reader's Digest article that would later inspire the Lagina brothers. He moved his family to Nova Scotia and dedicated his entire life to solving the puzzle. He became a living library of the island's history, myths, and failed attempts. When Rick and Marty Lagina came along with their passion and financial backing, Dan became their partner, their mentor, and the respected elder of the fellowship. He passed away in 2019, a legend who never gave up the search. For Dave, protecting that legacy was everything. He had stepped into his father's massive shoes, carrying on the Blankenship name and their profound mission.
I do not believe that I was saved for a reason. No. Are you kidding me?
So in his view, when the show began to sideline his father's monumental contributions, focusing more on other past treasure hunters or new theories without giving Dan his proper due, it was more than an oversight. It was a profound sign of disrespect. Dave felt that crucial decisions about the narrative were being made that diminished his father's role, effectively rewriting history. The show, he believed, was forgetting the man who had kept the dream alive through sheer willpower for 50 long years. This perceived disregard became the final straw. It was a matter of principle. For a man who had survived a catastrophic accident and fought his way back, standing up for his father's honor was a fight he was not willing to lose, even if it meant walking away from the show that had made his family's quest world famous. The deleted post was a rare glimpse behind the curtain, revealing the painful personal conflict that was playing out off camera. It showed that for Dave, the greatest treasure on Oak Island was never gold or jewels. It was his father's legacy. And just like that, he chose to protect it by disappearing from the narrative altogether. A quiet fortune. So what becomes of a legend after he steps away from the spotlight? This is the part of the story where you might wonder, is this all true? Did this really happen overnight? Are we missing a key detail? The thing is, Dave Blankenship didn't just fade into obscurity. While he may have quit the show, he never really quit Oak Island. His connection to that mysterious piece of land is far too deep to be severed by a television production dispute. Today, Dave still retains ownership of land on the Nova Scotia island, a physical and symbolic tie to his family's half-century obsession. He's not on camera, but his presence is still felt. In a special episode of the spin-off series Drilling Down, Dave made a special return, sitting down with host Marty Lagina. While he didn't rehash the drama of his departure, his appearance confirmed what many had hoped. The bonds of the fellowship remain strong. He revealed that he still maintains a close connection with Rick, Marty, and the entire team. He makes regular visits to the active dig sites on the island to check in on their progress. He may not have a formal role anymore, but he's still part of the family. He even joked that if the team ever unearths the big one, he'll still get his fair share of the spendables. It shows that despite the conflict with the producers, his partnership with the Laginas endured. Financially, Dave is doing just fine. It's estimated his net worth is somewhere between $1 and $8 million, a figure built from his time on the show as both a cast member and a producer until 2016, as well as his inherited ownership stakes in the island itself. His personal life remains, as always, very private. After a divorce in his younger years, which is what prompted him to move to Oak Island full-time to help his father back in 1969, he has seemingly remained single, focusing his life entirely on the island's quest. Did Dave do the right thing by walking away to protect his father's honor? Like and subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below.